time now for everybody's favorite guessing game, What's My Line? Brought to you by Remington Rand, makers of the revolutionary new Remington Rolectric. Now let's all play What's My Line?
And now let's meet our award-winning What's My Line panel. First, the delightful star of stage and television, Miss Arlene Francis.
And now, the main reason for all the laughter at the musical Little Abner is Jubilation Tea Corn Pone Stubby Kaye.
Thanks, naturally. And now here's a lady who's just in from Washington, where she's going to rush right back right after the show because she's covering the inauguration for a bunch of papers from coast to coast, Miss Dorothy Kilgallen.
And now our publisher, panelist, and also columnist for this week, Bennett, Cerf.
On my left, also sparing us a few hours from festivities at Washington, out of the goodness of his heart, and because his wife and children are crying for food and clothing, John Charles Daly.
Yes, actually, Miss Dorothy and I have been down in Washington for the inauguration. It's a lot of fun, but I got some news for Bennett Cerf, too. You can go back to Washington now, because I read into your favorite author, my good friend, Pulitzer Prize winner Don Whitehead, and his book is now back in the bookstores. And it's a great book, actually, the FBI story, but Don said to tell you that Mr. Hoover said you could come back.
Thank you.
I dare you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Nice to have you with us, and nice again to have some very interesting occupations with which it is my hope we can stick the panel tonight. We'll also have a famous mystery guest before my friends a little bit later in the show, but now let's meet the first contestant. Will you come in and sign in, please?
What a beautiful hand.
Congratulations.
Thank you, John.
That's fine. Actually, panel, as you have noted, our guest is signed Mr. X. There will be some reasons that will be clear later on. However, the panel, Mr. X, if you'll come over now and join me, I would ask you one question. Are you familiar with the way we keep score?
Yes, I am.
All right, fine. Then let's let the folks here and our friends around the country know exactly what your line is. Give you some help. Mr. X is salaried, and let's begin the general questioning with Miss Arlene Francis.
Mr. X, do you do whatever you do out of doors at all?
Yes.
Is your name X for now because it is a name that we might have seen in the newspapers?
Yes.
Have you done something of particular merit that has put you in the papers beyond and above being a performer?
Yes, I would answer the question, if I may, because I think it might embarrass Mr. X. He distinguished himself very markedly, and as a result, he was in the papers sometime. Yeah?
Are you ever off the ground in your job?
Well, now this
No,
is...
not in my work.
This is not to say, actually, that we want to give you a negative answer, which you
Not
haven't
much.
earned. We would have to admit that in this age of modern communications, I think Mr. X perhaps might get off the ground, as we all do at one time or another.
And also, John, sometimes you face problems that practically take you off the ground.
Thank
Now,
you.
if that isn't sufficiently confusing, you can go on.
Well, do you wear something other than the clothing that you wear now in your job?
Sometimes, yes.
Would it be considered in any way a uniform?
Well, not necessarily a uniform, but
it does
would...
take you off the ground sometimes when you have an idea that... It's going to be like going off the ground, huh?
It would not be technically, I think, described as a uniform, but we have used that word so broadly that it does connote certainly that he wears other than ordinary street clothes sometimes.
Would it be considered a coverall then?
No, that helps a lot.
Well, it covers all, yes.
It does cover all. Well, do you have anything to do with a technical kind of job?
No, I don't think you'd.
One down and 9 to go. Mr. Kaye.
That X has got me. Sounds like he's from Dog Patch.
Dog patch?
Yeah. I'll tell you, I'd like to know, have you anything to do with sports?
Well, I guess
Yes,
you could
yes,
say you
I
have
do.
something to do with
Well,
sports.
is what you do of an athletic nature? I mean,
They're talking about my profession.
This
I
gets
think.
very difficult after
Yeah,
a while.
but-
I will say this, that when he is interested in sports, you might describe what he does when he is interested in sports, which could be an avocation rather than a vocation. I would say then it's athletic, yeah.
well, who's minding the store? I see. We did say that this gentleman is salaried.
Yes.
He's salaried. Do you deal in services?
Yes.
Services to both men and women?
Services in the deepest kind, I'd call it.
Deepest. Might be a gravedigger.
Yes. Well, it's remotely connected with that, yes.
Oh! No. Would I come to you for these services?
Yes?
I would.
You
Yes.
could, Stubby, yes.
I could.
Maybe you should. Well, no, I shouldn't say that.
You know what? Oh, please, Dorothy, not here. Let me see. He doesn't. Do you use some sort of an implement when you work? Something in your hands, an instrument of some kind?
Sometimes.
I see. Does it have moving parts?
No.
No.
No, it's just one thing that. Oh.
2 down and 8 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
And now I'm talking about what I guess you consider your avocation, if you're who I think you are. I wish you'd rumple your hair a little.
Well, I can do that, too.
Does... Thank you very much. That's better. Does the implement that you use cause you to move or assist you in moving when you are doing not your main profession, but your avocation?
Yes, that's right.
Do you have anything to do with a bar?
Yes, that's right.
Non-alcoholic?
Yeah. Quite. Very much so. Very much so.
Are you a reverend?
Yes, that's
Yes,
right.
and
Well,
that is
you're the
the
great.
line. Reverend Bob, you sure did. You gave away a lot. I ought to take you to task. Reverend Bob Richards, a Methodist minister, and also one of the great shining lights of the athletic world.
Oh, if you've known the times I've had my heart in my mouth watching you go over that bar, and you always make it, too.
Actually, I think we ought to rush in here to say that Bob Richards is perhaps the greatest pole vaulter there is in this world today. Won the Olympic medals for us in '56. You did it in '52, didn't you?
That's right, John.
And another distinction, by golly, I think we ought to put them all on the line. He has, this weekend, I believe, been formally notified that the Junior Chamber of Commerce has picked him as one of the 10 outstanding young men of the year. Is that right?
That's right.
They picked well. Reverend Bob, I know this is, you're going to give this away, so we'll flip all the cards. Get them all over there. And I would thank you very much for being our guest. Hope you had some fun. You
Oh, John, I've enjoyed this program a number of times, and Dorothy's too keen, I can see that. But may I say, you've had your mouth open watching me jump. I've had the same reaction watching the program.
Oh,
Oh,
thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Nice to have you with us.
John, would you mind if I make one correction?
Yes, sir.
They've been calling me a Methodist minister, and I love the ministers, but I'm really a minister in the Church of the Brethren.
A minister in the Church of the Brethren.
Actually, my work is with all churches, but I think we ought to be technically right.
Right, and I'm sorry if I made the error.
As a matter of fact, I would like whatever funds are here to go to the Church of the Brethren, relief for the Hungarians overseas.
Sir, we'll see that it's done. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir.
I'm so so nice to meet you.
You're too shy.
See you in Madison Square Garden.
Well, I thought we were going to fool the panel that time completely. We didn't do it, but perhaps we can do it now. Let's have another challenger. Will you come in and sign in, please?
Right there. Matt? Matt Price. Is that right? Is it Mrs. Matt Price?
Yes, sir.
And where are you from, Mrs. Price?
Salina, Kansas.
Salina, Kansas.
Yes.
Fine. This is our panel here, formidable, but don't be frightened of them, because I'm here with you. Will you come over here and sit down with me, please? And, Mrs. Price, do you know how we keep score?
Yes, I do.
Fine, then let's let everybody here and out there know exactly what your line is, all right? Panel, Mrs. Price is self-employed, and let's begin the general questioning with Bennett Cerf.
Mrs. Price, I guess we can rule out pole vaulting in your case, can't we? You're self-employed. Do you do what you do in or about Salina, Kansas?
Yes, sir.
Could you do it equally as well another place?
Yes, sir.
Would you call what you do service?
Yes, sir.
Do you perform the service at your own place of business or home,
Yes, sir.
and people come to you?
Yes, sir.
Do both men and women seek your aid, your services?
They
Well,
could.
Yes, they could, Bennett, and so that there's no confusion of it, the application for the service comes to Mrs. Price's home. This does not necessarily mean that everybody has to physically come to the home.
I see. Mrs. Price, Matt, is that your first name, Matt? What does
That's
that stand
my
for?
husband's name.
Oh, I see. What's your name, Mrs. Price?
Charlotte.
Charlotte. That's a nice name. Do you have anything to do, whatever, with animals?
No, sir.
1 down and 9 to go, Miss Francis.
Well, Mrs. Price, is there any product at all with what you do?
Beg pardon?
Is there a product connected with what you do?
Why, yes.
Uh-huh. Is it a product that you can hold in your hand?
Yes, you could.
Is it useful?
Yes, it is.
Do you suppose I have ever used this product?
You could, probably.
I could?
Yes, you
Yes,
could,
yes.
Miss Arlene. I don't think either one of us is equipped to say specifically you have, but it certainly is
Oh,
possible that
I thought
you
she
might
said,
have.
could she?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, huh? Would it be possible for a man to use it?
Yes, ma'am.
Uh-huh. Would it ever be on the person? Would it be worn, or would it
No.
show on the person?
No, dear. 2 down and 8 to go, Mr. Kaye.
Would I use this product?
You could.
Almost for sure.
Ah! John, I don't get it. As I understand it, people do not come directly to your home for this.
No, actually, Stubby, what I
It's
meant
the
to convey was they could, but it isn't absolutely. The application for the service would come.
Would be directed
That's
to
right.
Miss Price, I say, Mrs. Price. Is this a product that improves one's appearance?
No, I'm afraid not. 3 down and 7 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
I don't know why Stubby would use anything that didn't improve him.
Love this girl.
This is a tangible item,
Yes.
Yes, it is.
not something like a joke or something.
No, it's tangible.
All right. Is it solid rather than liquid?
No.
Oh, yes, it is solid
Yes,
rather
it's
than liquid.
solid, not
Yes.
liquid.
Would you
Yes.
find it in the home?
You
Well,
could.
you could, yes.
Would you find it more often, do you think, outside the home?
I think so.
Or would you find it in an office?
No.
No, I don't think so. Not a well-run office, I wouldn't say. 4 down and 6 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Well, now, would you be able, Mrs. Charlotte Price, to purchase this article with which you are somewhat connected in a department store?
No.
That makes it 5 down and 5 to go, Miss Francis.
Is the article made of material?
Yes.
Is it something that is put on something else?
Yes.
Would it be something that you could make with your hands?
Well, yes.
Uh-huh. Do you?
Yes.
Would it be anything like in the antimacassar family?
Antimacassar?
I just knew the word, that's why I wanted to say it. It's so sweet. Unless it's Grandma Moses in disguise over there.
No antimacassar.
No.
6 down and photograph. I'm going to give you 1 minute because I don't think you're close. Mr. Kaye?
Well, Mr. Bennett.
No conference was called,
Conference,
Miss
a small
Kilgallen.
conference?
You want
Could we
10
call?
seconds
10
for a
seconds.
conference.
Could we call for one? Because I just had the most terrible thought.
All right.
10 seconds.
It's not possible, but do you think this lovely lady could make shrunken heads?
But they have shrunken heads in well-run offices.
Imitation ones, you know.
No,
They're
actually-
not real.
Mr. Daly, is this some sort of a cover that might go on a kitchen utensil?
No. That makes it 7 down and 3 to go, Miss Dorothy. You want to take a shot at it?
Well, hardly. I didn't even hear that it was a cover.
Yes, it could be a cover.
I'll
No,
pass to Bennett.
The issue was not, I think,
Didn't you say
Yes.
it could cover something?
no.
No,
what you
I just
did.
said that can it be put on something in
Could
the
it be put on
Yes.
something?
That doesn't know what
I just had a wild idea of my own. It's no worse than that shrunken head routine of Dorothy's. There's a motorboat show on in New York. Could your thing be used in any way on a boat?
No.
No.
No, it'd have to be a pretty big boat. I don't think you're going to get this panel, but you don't need to worry about it. I don't think anybody could ever have gotten it. Mrs. Price crochets pockets for pool tables. And just to get the record in, Mrs. Price has been doing it since 1938. You do it for Brunswick Balk Colander. And they order them for Mrs. Price at home, and she has some people help her, and she makes these things.
Arlene was
Mrs.
very
Price-
close, John.
Yeah.
Maybe it has nothing to do with anti-Macassar, but my Uncle Macassar plays pool all the time.
That's all. Don't you believe it. Mrs. Price, we hope you had fun. It was lovely to have you with
Well,
us.
I'm certainly glad to have met you. And
Thank
glad
you.
to be
Lovely
here.
to see you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Good night. In just a moment, we'll meet tonight's mystery. We come to the special feature of our program, the appearance of our mystery celebrity, for which my friends on the panel are blindfolded. Are the blindfolds all in place, panel?
Yes, sir.
Good. Will you come in, mystery challenger, and sign in, please? All right, panel, as you know, in the case of our mystery challenger, we go to a different form of questioning. You ask one question at a time, in turn, moving clockwise, and let's begin it with Dorothy Kilgallen.
Are you funny?
Well, on occasions.
Mr. Cerf?
There are echoes of that voice that sound familiar, but I'll let it go around once. Wait a minute. No, I want to say.
Oh,
I
I
want
thought
to say
you
a
said
question.
you wanted to let it go around, Bennett.
Well, I'd like to ask a question.
All right.
Have you ever appeared on television?
Yeah.
Miss Francis?
Are you diminutive but dazzling?
What? Are you diminutive but dazzling?
I don't have to answer that one, do I?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think it's any of her business.
The question is struck out on the grounds that it's too personal. I think you will probably, Miss Arlene, have had adequate answer, have you
Yes,
not,
I
by
have.
the reaction, Mr. Kaye?
Well, it's a cinch he's not the president of a gargle company. Are you at present appearing in New York?
No.
That's one down.
I
Nine
just
to
wanted
go.
to find out.
Miss Kilgallen.
Do you wear your hair in rather a distinctive crew cut?
I think this game is rigged.
I don't know how is it distinctive?
Well, I don't know. Nobody ever put it that way before.
I would have to say it is a crew cut. Mr. Cerf?
Is your television show so good that it even survived an appearance by me on it once?
Well, we fought our way back.
Oh, well, I thought Bennett had said who it was.
I didn't say it.
No, Bennett hasn't said it. You want to do it all in
Well, you
unison?
are dazzling, and you are George Gobel, aren't you?
George Gobel? That was real fun, but I don't think we fooled him very hard.
No, I should say not. I guess I'm not shifty enough for this show.
Bennett, did you hear echoes of George from when you went out and did the show with him?
The minute I heard he was coming to New York, I said, gee, I hope he pays us a visit, so I've been kind of waiting for him.
Yes, Dorothy.
I thought he was funny when he came out because I heard the audience tittering. What did he do? Did he do some funny little step or something when he came out?
He signed himself in as Forge Fogel.
Well, there you go. Anybody was looking, you know, and they were peeking.
I figured it wasn't some dignified elderly lady.
I'll go along with that.
George, you are in New York, if memory serves me well, because you're going to give us the pleasure of working in our vineyard rather than the West Coast for a while.
Yes, that's right. We're going to do 3 of our shows from here.
You'll be here 3 weeks?
3 weeks.
Well, this is good. I hope we can have a gathering of the clan. Miss Ann is in Washington. Miss Ann Giller, sorry, this is a mutual friend of ours.
Oh.
But she'll be back in the middle of the week. Perhaps we can all gather.
Well, that'll be swell. We'll do something. We'll try to figure out some way to get in trouble or something, maybe.
We'll make it. We'll make it.
George.
Thanks very much,
thank
George.
you.
All right, panel, we're going to do a very quick one. Let's have another challenger. Will you come in and sign in, please?
Here's my kind of man now.
West Sutton, right, sir? Where are you from?
Belleville, Illinois.
Yeah, panel, Mr. Sutton is from Belleville, Illinois. Come with me, if you will, Mr. Sutton. You know how we play the game?
Right.
Let's show everybody here and elsewhere just exactly what your line is. All right, panel. You have a little under 2 minutes. Mr. Sutton is salaried. We'll begin it all with Stubby Kaye. Your kind of man, Stubby. Take him.
We'd make a wonderful set of bookends. Belleville, Illinois. Do you deal in services?
Yes, I do.
Uh-huh. Services to both men and women?
Yes?
Uh-huh. Do they come to you for these services, Mr. Sutton?
Yes.
I see. And when you get finished offering these services, are they in better appearance, shall we say?
Better appearance?
Yes.
Nope. We have to rule him
Nope.
out on that, I think, don't you? 1 down and 9 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Is the community any better off because of what you do?
Well, I think anybody, you know, who serves a useful function and does his work honestly betters the community. To that degree, yes, Dorothy.
Oh. But you are not specifically out to, well, I'll say, may I rule out the law? You have nothing to do with law enforcement.
No.
Do you work for a non-profit-making organization?
Yes?
Is there a product involved in what you do?
Well, there's a relationship with a product, I guess you could call it a product.
Is it a product that would be found in the home?
Yes?
Yeah, the product he has a relationship could be found in the home, too.
Well, are there lots of products, John, or are you leading me up the primrose path?
Well, I don't know how primrosy this one is, Dorothy. Actually, I'm sorry to say we did run out of time because what we brought Mr. Sutton in particularly for was because we knew Stubby would love to be the other bookend. But more than that, we think that Mr. Sutton sort of epitomizes what he does because he is a civilian cook for the United States Air Force. You get the whole business, but the end of the time. Thanks very much. Good to have you in. Thanks very much. And now, in just a moment, our panel will be back to say good night. But now, here is a word from next week's sponsor. And now, a very quick note to be helpful. It's a reminder to our non-citizen friends that the month of January is the month in which you must report your addresses to the U.S. Immigration and Naturalization Service. The requirements are very simple. Just go to your nearest post office and complete Form 153. So if you're not a citizen, try to get it done this month. In fact, it's important that you do. And now, until next week, this is John Daly saying good night, Miss Arlene.
Good night, John. We'll be watching you with Ray Bolger on Washington Square Sunday. Stubby, good night.
Thank you very much, Arlene. Good night, Dorothy.
Good night, Stubby. Good night, Bennett. Have fun in Beloit and Chicago.
I'm the only one who isn't going to Washington. Good night, John.
Good night, and good night, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for being with us on What's My Line?
Travel arrangements on What's My Line are made through American Airlines. American Airlines flies our contestants in luxurious comfort aboard DC-7 flagships. What's My Line is a Mark Goodson, Bill Codman production in association with the CBS television network.